Hello, YouTube. This is an alcohol review of Cliff Falls Bourbon. According to the label, 4 years, aged, 45 ABV, 90% alcohol by volume, 90. And everything else is done in a copper ink on a tan paper. Those of you who've watched my channels in the past understand when I say packaging is not the end-all be-all, but it is important. Guys, I know that bourbon is your thing. I know the whiskey is your thing. The rum is your thing. Packaging, packaging, packaging. It's important. You can't read when the ink is almost the same shade as the paper it's on. All I really get out of this is Kentucky bourbon, high rye mash bill, locally grown Kentucky corn, pure Kentucky water, Bardstown, Kentucky. Please enjoy responsibly. And the rest of it is just a coppery mess. Packaging, packaging, packaging. All right, lecture over. Band across the top, wooden cap. Good. Crushed cork for the cork. That is a discussion for another time. Is that bad? No. Is it good? Depends on how you feel. The cup is wood hat. So, if you can, give them a try. They're not bad. They do an incredible array of bourbons with various corn mash various corn in their mash bill. Why is that a thing? I never realized how many different types of corn you can make in a mash bill. I always thought it was just a small number, and it's human edible, farm grade, or not much else in between. No, these guys, a lot of different types and breeds of corn that they themselves do on their own grounds. If you get the chance, go visit them. It's a fascinating thing. As for the wood hat part, also fascinating part of their history. It's worth the drive if you are within reason to it. So, we have here a standard caramel, hints of yellow. Some lights will give you hints of red. I'm not seeing it here. Give this a swirl. For the longest time, I thought the reason for the swirl was that because of the level of sugar in solution and how that's thicker and how it runs down and how it breaks and everything else causing the legs. And it would determine with flavors and whatnot. Turns out, no. Totally different reasons. It's just more physics than actual useful drinking knowledge. Think trivia. But doing it here because it puts more of the solution on the side of the glass. So now we have surface air to help me smell what it has to offer. It has a fire, moderate, burn, moderate. Hints of various fruit notes, lemon, orange, your standards. And buried deep are spices, like vanilla and cinnamon. But it's buried down there, quite deep. There, in the taste, on the palate, it flips. You've got yourself a heavy burn, heavier bite. Not too destructive, but it is there. The flavors or the fruit notes fall back. The spices come forward. And there you get cinnamon, vanilla, what you expect in a nice bourbon. And the fruit notes come trailing behind, giving it a medium to fairly long hang time. Uh, so it's not bad on those marks. The bite and the burn is under dispute. Given enough time to breathe, it will lose its fangs. Not completely, but it will. Usually, to help get rid of those sharp edges to it, you put in a piece of ice, a little bit of water, something to help temper it down. The water does help break up and open it up for you, but the ice is what you're looking for to help knock down those sharp edges. And the unfortunate part is, if you knock down the sharp edges, you start losing nuances in the flavor because all those subtleties get buried in the cold, as it were, which is where you want all the razor blades to go and the fire to be lost in, not the subtle layers. But it's all part and parcel of the same gig, so you're going to lose the good plus some of the bad. So I suggest not putting ice into it and just putting up with the bite and the burn. By giving it some air and several more sips, you'll start acclimating to it, and then you'll start tasting the actual real flavors it has to offer. But that requires some patience and temperance. I'm not saying you'll have it, but they'll have friends who don't, but think they do. Don't be that guy. The burnt rubber taste, the ethanol, is at a constant. This is take 2 or take 3 of this video. So the burning and the bite are pretty much faded off my palate. But man, that burnt tire, proud and true, right there. And at 90%, I can see why. Adding this to a cocktail is just simply, I would not suggest it. The subtleties and the niceties of this are very quick and fleeting, and would get lost in a cocktail. All you're getting out of putting this into your favorite cocktail would be just the alcohol, not so much the flavors. I tried this kind of augmenting a dark and stormy, and I know what you're thinking. But the ginger beer, yes, and the ginger beer did. You were right. And it just crushed this poor guy to nothing. So I'm presuming a cola with bourbon would also do this similar. Anything that has a strong enough flavor to stand up on its own will simply step on this guy. With that said, as an American bourbon, how well and when and so forth and so on, it is a sipper, and it likes to ride along with Irish whiskeys in my palate. I love Irish whiskeys. I think they are very polite and nice and kind. They are the Canadians of the bourbon world. They're great. Scotch will punch in the nose. The American stuff wants to believe they're Scotch, if not batter asses, and they're not. And it all falls down to, you just want to sit there and just enjoy a nice sip at the end of a long, hard day. I say, go Irish. And this Cliff Falls trails in the wake of that. But be warned, my palate says is kind of nice along that line, and um, is a good sipper. The missus tried it, and she actually gave it a complete 180 on everything I was tasting. She felt that the burn and the bite were much stronger. The flavors of fruit notes and spices much hidden way further back. That everything I'm telling you, she just literally said the exact opposite. Is she wrong? Not even close. That's what her palate told her. It's fascinating for different people's palates on the same thing. It's amazing. So be warned. I'm saying this is a nice borderline Irish type flavor whiskey. It may go in a totally different direction for your palate. Try it and see what you think, but be warned. I say it's a nice hot weather uh, sipper. No, I have it neat and go that way. But I have been wrong. This is Cliff Falls small batch bourbon. I know, we mentioned that earlier, right? Yeah, no, I'm just now getting it through the stupid copper ink they put on this thing, where it says small batch across the top. Packaging, packaging, packaging. Anyways, Cliff Falls, comments down below, warmly accepted as always. Or better yet, go out, buy it, try it. And like I said, you may find it goes the way I'm saying, or may go complete 180, just like the missus said. Neither's wrong, but it's only your palate that makes it right. Try it, see what you think. If you like, or even if you don't like, put a review on the YouTube so the rest of us in the YouTube spirits community, I'm trying to get that to be a thing, in the YouTube spirits community, so we can see, is this worth our dollar? Because the dollar is getting harder and harder these days to get. Is this worth our money? Let us know what you think. Go out, try it. Let us know. Until next time, keep on drinking.